So generally what we're doing is we're hearing the recording of our Gurudev chanting these verses, and then we're repeating, and then we're reading the English translations. Okay, so I'm going to play now chapter 3. I'm just going to start so I'm going to start the recording of Gurudev chanting the verses from the beginning of the chapter. We can follow, and then when we get to the 30th verse, we'll pause. Chapter 3. Okay. Jai Shri Gurudev, Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai.
Tattavittu mahabahu guna karma तृतीयोध्याय कर्मयोगा अर्जुनुवाच जायसी चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि निघोरे मं नियोजयसि केशव व्यामिश्रेण वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्त येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्। श्री भगवान उवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनां न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यासनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् कर्मपि यातु तिष्ठत् कर्मकृत् कार्यते छवसः कर्म सर्वप्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य यास्ते मनसा स्मरन् इंद्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः उच्यते यस्तेन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभते अर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगमशक्तः स विशिष्यते नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायोच्छ कर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्धेद कर्मणः यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धन तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर सहयज्ञः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापति अनेन प्रसविष्यद्धमेष भूस्तिष्ठ कामधु देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वा परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यतः इष्टान् भोगन् हि वो देवा दर्शन्ते यज्ञभावितः तैर्दत्तान् प्रदायैभ्यो जो भुङ्क्तेस्तेनैव सः यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तु मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापा ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणं अन्नाद् भवन्ति भूतानि पश्चन्नादन्नसम्भवः यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यो यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवं तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम् एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति हर अघायुरिन्द्रियाराम मोहं पार्थ सजीवति यस्त्वात्मनसिरेव सा आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थो नाकृतेनेह कश्चन नो तस्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थवपात्सय तस्मादसक्तसततं काच्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तोच्छाचरं कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुषः कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धि मास्थिता जनकादयः लोकसंग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि यच्चदाचरति श्रेष्ठ सत्तदेवेतरो जनः सा यत्प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तद् अनुवर्तते न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नानावाप्तम् अवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि यदीच्छां न वर्तेयं यातु कर्मान्न तन्द्रित मम वर्तानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वथा उत्सिदेयुरिमे लोकाः न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्तास्यामुपहन्यामि मां प्रजाः सक्ताः कर्मण्य विद्वांसु यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद्विद्वांस्तथा सक्तः चिकीर्षु लोकसङ्ग्रहम् न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानं कर्मसङ्गिनां योजयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन् प्रकृतिः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वथा अहंकार विमूढात्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्म विभागयो गुणा गुणेषु वर्तन्त इति मत्वा न सज्जते.
Okay, so I'm going to stop there. Just as a recap, because some of you have been away and others are just visiting temporarily, so we're here on Chapter 3 of Bhagavad-gita, the path of action or karma yoga, and this is like, we can say, like the first step on the ladder, that is the ladder of different levels of spiritual practice, which is being presented here by Krishna in Bhagavad-gita. And so this is the karma yoga. This is the first and most accessible. What is the fundamental problem for someone who's trying to, who realizes the nature of this world as being just a place of entanglement. One who realizes that, has some consciousness of that, then they're faced with the problem how to become free, because in order to live in this world we have to act, we have to do so many things, and by that action we are entangling ourselves further and further within this world, within the bondage of karmic reactions. So what we are told here in this chapter is that it is actually not the action itself which is binding us, but it is the consciousness, the attachment behind that action, which is binding us. And so, in other words, it is selfish action which is springing from our ego, from our individual conceptions of self-interest. That is actually what is binding us, not the action itself. So karma yoga, the yoga of action, also more specifically, is nishkam karma yoga. Nishkam meaning free from desire. This is the path which is being outlined here, to whatever one's duty is within this world, whatever it may be, to simply do that out of a sense of duty without expecting the result of that, without entangling ourselves with the results of that. And different things are explored here. This understanding that, first of all, we are not actually the doers. This is an important point which is presented here in this regard. First of all, we are not actually the doers. Everything that is, every action, every movement, every achievement, or otherwise that is occurring in this world is is only by the power of the energies of Krishna and his energies. The only thing that we can do as the soul is to desire, to will. But whether anything actually happens as a result of that, that is not up to us. That is up to the Lord, that is up to the modes of nature. So when we realize that fundamental fact, that actually changes our whole perspective. Just because I've tried to do something, why should I think that I'm entitled to the result? The fact that it took place was actually nothing to do with me. That was a secondary thing. So just that perspective, it changes our whole outlook. And then also devotional perspective is touched upon here, that actually, everything that we do, it should be done as a selfless offering for the sake of the Lord. And I was hearing one talk of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and he was saying this is where the karma yogi can make the transition from karma yoga to bhakti yoga. Not just that one is selflessly engaging in action like in a disinterested way, but rather in a Krishna interested way or a Vaishnava interested way. They are doing everything as an offering to that higher plane. And that is how we are, we want to live our lives. And so, these instructions, we see all throughout the Gita, these different levels of instructions are given. And one level, they can be read as pertaining to that particular path or yoga, but in another way we can extract from there and we can apply in the practice of devotion. So this is something very basic, but very, very difficult, to try to serve with that type of mentality, detached, not just detached, but detached from our own interest and attached to the Lord's higher interest, to serve with that type of spirit, totally without any involvement of our personal ego, whether something was, are we really serving just with the objective of pleasing Hari, Guru, Vaishnava? Is that really our only desire, or is our own ego, our own sense of prestige mixed within that? And actually, so much of the stress that we experience, it's just because of our own ego. That's all that it is, because things didn't go as we wanted them to go, or things didn't go in such a way that made us look good, and so on and so forth. So it is like a very basic spiritual advice, but it is very, very difficult to put into practice. But it's on the whole, it's a wonderful thing, as we're practicing, we observe all of these things like popping up within ourselves, and it's like whoa. And then we're like shining that light of the teachings of Guru, and some clearing, some purification is taking place, and we're observing these different dark areas within ourselves, and then some cleaning is taking place. Okay, so we're here on verse 28. And so we heard Gurudev, so we can now chant this together. Verse number 28. Tattva vittu mahabaho guna karma vibhagaya guna guneshu vartanta iti matva nasajate. Should we start here, Ramananda? Oh, you have to go. You want to start. Verse 28, translation. 28.
However, Almighty Ahmed Arjuna.
You could maybe read 27 as well, because they're linked.
All the actions in the world are in every respect affected by the mode of material nature. But a man deluded by bodily identifications thinks, I alone, I am comprising this world. However, O mighty armed Arjuna, one who is in acknowledge of the division of modes of material nature and action knows that the modes are engaging within the modes and he is detached from them.
Do you want to read that in parentheses as well? In parentheses, one who knows that the
three modes activated by the demigods. He held the engagements of the senses with these objects, knows himself to be independent of these elements. Therefore, he does not consider himself a doer.
There's Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he explained that in Sanskrit, the word for freedom is swadhinata, as I recall, which means to have self-mastery, to have mastery over oneself. It's very, very interesting, because normally in the Western thinking, we think freedom is to be able to do whatever you want at any time, whenever you feel like it. Whatever you want to do, wherever you want to go, whatever you want to eat, whoever you want to be with, that's real freedom. But when you have the spiritual perspective, you see, actually, you're just a total slave to your senses.
Yeah.
That's all. In the name of freedom, you're actually a slave. So real freedom means to have these outer aspects under control, and you're actually acting from that essential aspect, that soul plane. That is real freedom. And as our spiritual consciousness develops, we will actually, as it's being expressed here, we'll actually begin to experience these different layers of our existence, and our eyes are being attracted here, our ears are being attracted there, our tongue is attracted here. There's all this stuff going on, and you realize this isn't actually me. This afternoon, Sripad Nyasi Maharaj was discussing these verses of Shikshashtakam, and that first verse, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Kroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udurapashta Vegam, is describing these 6 urges of the urge of speech, the urge of the tongue, the belly, the genitals, mind, anger. All these different urges are popping up within us. And without any spiritual perspective, we're identifying with those things. Wherever those urges are taking us, are dragging us, we're going behind them. But with some spiritual vision, perspective, we start to see, this is not me at all. All this stuff popping up, it's not who I am. And then you're just sitting back and watching this
you look back and you see everything you have done wrong. Well, pretty much everything we have done is but we see that it's because of that. In that moment we thought we were free and we were doing all, I'm doing what I want and I'm free and I just leave me alone, don't tell me anything. But then you just look back and you, I was so dumb.
It's you're watching this show going on. And that interim period it can be very, very difficult, because we're not free from those. And it's we realize that's not us, and we don't want to just follow them. But at the same time, we're not completely free. So it's like we're kind of like, we feel like we're in this like stuck position, just like watching this stuff, knowing it's not who I am, but not actually able to become free from them at the present moment. And that can be very, very difficult. But we have to, as we're told in the following verses of Upadeshamrita, we must persevere with confidence and enthusiasm, depending on the grace of the Lord and the Vaishnavas. But just having this consciousness, like hearing these verses, it gives us so much perspective, and it's very, very, very helpful in that sense. Okay. Any other comments or questions or anything? Okay, we can continue. What happened?
Prakriti guna sangamuraha sajjante guna karavasu Tana Krishna vidu mandan Krishna vidna vichalayet.
Okay, so 29 we'll chant together. Prakrite guna samuda sajante guna karmasu Tana Krishna vidu mandan Krishna vidna vichalayet.
Persons bewildered by the moods of nature are absorbed in the functions of the moods, the engagement of the senses with the objects. Enlightened persons should not agitate such ignorance. Enlightened persons should not agitate such ignorance. Unfortunate persons, by trying to convince them of higher philosophical truth, rather they should advise the conditional souls to practice selfless action, which liberates them from absorption in the moods.
This is very beautiful. And of course, in our language, we will say, just do seva. Like whether you really understand, we're not going to sit and like enter a philosophical discourse and explain to you how you're being controlled by your senses, just going to confuse them. That do some seva, engage yourself in some act of dedication to the higher plane, and you will automatically and naturally be purified by that.
Mai sarvani karmani sangnasya athatma chetasa niyasir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasya vigatachvara.
Yi sarvani karmani sanyasyadhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudyasva vigata jara.
Surrender all your activities to me with this understanding. All my actions are under the control of the indwelling Lord. In such consciousness, free from possessiveness and anguish, take the source to battle as your natural duty.
So this is like very fundamental to our conditioned existence. This sense of possessiveness to have, and anguish, like disappointment when we lose it or when we can't have it. This like duality is always going on, or as it's mentioned in that verse, Brahmabhuta prasanatma na shochati na kankshati, that the enlightened soul, they do not hanker after anything of this world, and they do not lament for anything. They understand, I'm spirit, this is all matter. So what point is there in hankering after so many material objects of this world? And if I lose something, then what is the point in lamenting over that? It has nothing to do with my intrinsic self. And this consciousness that, everything is under the control of the Lord. That we are under the guardianship of the Lord, as we've been discussing with Prapana Jiva Namritam. Therefore, everything is okay. I'm not acting out of my own interest. I'm doing everything as an offering to Him, and He is in control. So, what need is there for any mental trouble? Okay.
Jemi matamidam nittam anutishtanti manavaha sraddhavantu nasuyantu muchanti tevi karmabhi.
Ye me matam idam nityam anutishtanti manava shadavanto nasuyanto muchyante tepi karmabhi.
Faithful, unbegrudging men who always practice my teaching, this yoga or selfless action, are liberated from the bondage of action, even though they engage in action.
Okay.
Yette tat pasuyanto nanutishtanti me matam sarva jnana vimurhan sthana viddhi nastan acetasa.
Okay. Ye tve tad abhyasuyanto nanutishtanti me matam sarva jnana vimudam stan vidinashtan acetasa.
But are arrogant who resent my teaching are bereft of open knowledge. Know them to the lost in ignorance.
Sadrisam chistati sasya prakriti jnanavanapi prakriti bhutani migraha kim karishyati.
Sajisham chestate swasya prakrite jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati.
For even a knowledgeable person tends to act according to his nature, mundane inclinations. The living beings in these worlds are dictated by their natures. What then can repression accomplish?
This principle, we can say, is like what the whole Varnashram system of India is based upon, that everybody has some particular nature, so you don't have to repress that, but become engaged in some duty that allows you to express that nature, but in such a way that is actually making a contribution to society, to the central interest, the interest of the whole. So to do that, and in the midst of doing that, to try to develop some sense of detachment by engaging in that duty with a mood of selflessness. So just as like the most basic example, if a man is disturbed by kam, by lust, then rather than trying to repress that, find a wife, get married, and carry out your marriage life and your family life according to some, carry it on centered around spiritual principles. And in the course of, and while doing that, try to do it some spirit of selflessness, some spirit of duty, and then in the course of that, naturally some purification of heart and detachment will take place. And in our mission, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he also, some elements of the Varnashram, they're incorporated within our, the way that our mission is running. Daiva Varnashram is Gurudev called, God-centered varnashram system. Everybody has some particular nature, some particular, capacity that has been drawn from this world. So use that in connection with service. And, with that connection, that purification will take place. It is needless and will be detrimental to try to repress that nature that we have, but rather try to connect it, engage it. It's a wonderful system, really. With the Krishna connection, everything is purified, like a touchstone.
Indriya Shendriya Shati Ragadeshu Vavasito Tayurnapasamagatchitto Jasya Paripantino
Indriyasyandriyasyarte Ragadvesho Yavastito Tayornavasham Agachet Tohyasya Paripantino.
Although the senses are attracted to and repelled by the sense objects, one must not be controlled by these urges, for they are the greatest enemy of the candidate for self-realization.
You're following this? It's making sense to you, or not really? Are you following something?
Yeah, I think so.
You follow?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
Okay. I mean, the idea is that our senses, what are our senses? The sense of sight, smell, touch, taste. They're like it's like a magnetic attraction. They're attracted to so many things in this world, right? The eyes are attracted to some beautiful sight, the ears to some sound, the tongue to something tasty. The hand to touch, these things, they're like drawing us, but they're actually that plane of the senses, it's like nothing to do with the soul. It is something completely separate. It's like if you're on Facebook, there's like so much sensory stimulation, right? And it's like entangling, embroiling your consciousness in a very intense way, but it's actually like a huge distraction because it's nothing to do with that inner self. And so through spiritual practice we'll naturally begin to develop some, because as Srila Sridhar Maharaj explained in one place, the connecting layers are so close. Our soul is like it's right here, but like it's like your glasses. You can't see your glasses. Well, you don't wear glasses, but but I can see my glasses because I have to take some distance to be able to see them. But if something's right in front of my eye, I can't see it. So it's like that, the connecting layers between the soul and these mundane aspects of our material aspects of our existence. They're so close we can't really distinguish and perceive. But through spiritual practice, it's like there will be some space, some clearing will start to take place, and we'll start to perceive those separating layers, and we'll start to see, my eyes are running, like you see little kids, they're like totally controlled by their senses, right? They're doing one thing, then they hear some noise, and then they run over there, and then they see some doll over here, and they want to run, then they see some chocolate cake, oh, I want to get that. They're just like totally controlled by their senses, right? So it's kind of like that, through maturity and through spiritual development, we'll start to see, oh, hang on, that's not like, my ear's taking me there, my eyes are taking me there, and so on and so forth. But that's actually not who I am. No, this is something totally separate from the person within. And so this advice is being given here. Don't be controlled by these things. You should control those things. They should not control you. No. Okay. Can go to the next. Does that make a little more sense? Yeah. Okay. So it's like, just because your senses are telling you this is good doesn't mean it is good. You know, don't necessarily have to follow what they're dictating to us.
Triyal sadharmo viguna paradharvat sanushtitat sadharme nidharang sriya paradharmo bhayavaha.
Shreyan sadharmo viguna paradharmat sanushtitat swadharme nidanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha.
Even if it is imperfect, it is better to do one's duty according to one's own nature than to do another's will. Even death in a discharge of one's own duty is better, for to perform another's is dangerous.
Okay, well, I'll read this purport here, commentary. The eternal, super excellent, natural function, dharma, of the soul is pure devotion for Adhokshaja, the transcendental Lord. Therefore, even if this function is somewhat imperfectly attempted by one with external malpractices, such an attempt will be superior to the good practices within the material modes of nature and worldly chain of actions and habits foreign to the soul's nature. Even if death occurs during the cultivation of such pure devotion and proper saintly association, it is the bestower of the ultimate good. But in the name of good practices, to ignorantly follow another's path, anything other than devotion for the Lord, Dvitiya binivesh, is boyavaha, endangering to the spiritual progress of the soul. So there's two levels of meaning here, and the general meaning, which is I think clear in the verse, is that we have some particular duty that's been allotted to us, and we should give our attention to that. It is not our business to go to follow somebody else's path or somebody else's duty. Rather it's better to die doing your own duty than to leave that for somebody else's. Even if it is done imperfectly, it is better to do your own duty than to do another's well. So this is one level of meaning, and then this is commentary of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, must be, that this is from a devotional perspective, that what is the fundamental duty of every living entity? Jiver Srupa Hoy, Krishna Nitya Das. The constitutional nature of every soul is to serve the Lord, to engage in a relationship of love with the Lord. So that is our prime duty, that is our main duty, and even if we fail in that duty, even if we make mistakes in that duty, that is better than to perfectly perform so many other secondary, lower relative duties within this plane. And then, of course, the question comes up. Here in this verse, Krishna is saying, be safe, stick to your own duty, don't jump to another duty. But then at the conclusion of Gita, Krishna says, leave behind all of your duties and just come to me. So apparently some contradiction there. And the way that Sridhar Maharaj explains this is, we can conceive of this in terms of relative and absolute, that by which we mean that we all have two duties. One duty is, the main duty, the prime duty, is what we just described, our service to the Lord. That is our fundamental, absolute duty, fundamental duty in connection with our fundamental intrinsic self. But then also, we're living in this world. We've been born in some particular society, in some particular family, with a particular body and particular nature. And so we have some duties in connection with that. We have to take care of our body, we have to take a bath, we have to brush our teeth, we have to look after our children, we have to look after our mother or father, we have to go to school and get a job and money and so on and so forth. So that is what we will call like our relative duties, not in connection with our intrinsic self, but this is what's on our plate right now. And so we have to give some attention to both, but we have to know when to apply one teaching, stick to this, and when to give that up for the higher, for that absolute call. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj also says, like, the reason teaching is being given, stick to your duty, is so that we can become strong in that position, so that we can, it's like if you're climbing up some stairs, you will only go to the next step if you have one foot that's secure on the step before. If you try to jump too many steps, then you're going to fall down, and you're not going to get anywhere. So make sure you're in a firm and safe position, before you will go to some higher level duty. Well, I think it's a good place to stop. And then next week we'll finish this chapter and some very nice verses there. Very important verses. All right. Does anyone want to add anything or ask anything or anything at all? Your name, I don't think we met before. I've heard a lot about you.
No, you have.
Maybe a long time ago, but this year I haven't.
Yeah, I think.
Maybe last year I met
She was
you.
busy with her exam.
Yes, I know. Yes, and you finally completed them, and you lived to tell the tale.
Yashal.
What's that?
Yashal.
Yashal. Okay. Well, very lovely to see you. Okay, well, we'll finish with some Maha Mantra chanting. Jai Shri Gurudev. Jai. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Bhagavan Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Saparshad Shima Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Girir Hariju ki Jai, Shri Navadip Dham ki Jai, Shri Ganga Jamuna ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Tulasi Devi ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Shamakun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai, Vishwavyapi Tariya Vishakha Mat ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat London Chapter ki Jai, Tariya Sevak Vinda ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vinda ki Jai, all the assembled devotees ki Jai, all the world devotees ki Jai, all the respectable visitors and guests and sincere seekers ki Jai. And our next generation ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. You're always very quiet when your friend is here. Her mood like completely changes. She becomes very peaceful.
Normally she's